Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destini Copp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get out the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And my special guest today is Nicole Richmond. Nicole helps women start over with style after divorce so that they can fully rediscover, embrace, create, and own the next chapter of their lives. And Nicole, I am super excited to chat with you today. And before we get started in all the questions I have for you, can you tell the good audience just a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. So a little bit about me. I am now living in Geneva, Switzerland. I've been living here for 19 years. I've always worked in the fashion industry in some way, shape, or form, probably starting about from age 15. So I've done a lot of things within fashion, seen a lot of things. And most recently, after I had a terrible divorce, a nightmare, if you will, I decided to kind of put all the tools and the talents that I had to start helping women, because being here, being an expat, being in a different country, it was an additional stress on top of getting divorced. And I noticed a lot of comments that I would get like, oh, you look so great. And we never thought you were going through any of these problems. And I started, to realize that people there was a kind of a gap there. And for me, fashion was always kind of a tool to express myself. And most of the times it would be like, the better I looked, probably the worse I was feeling. But it was like, I've just my habit that when you get up, you get out and you put yourself together. So I've started working with women, helping them to start over. It's a very holistic approach. It's not just about the style, but we do a bit of inner work as well, but helping them to start over so they can really feel empowered and confident to start that next chapter of their life.
And I want to definitely delve into that, specifically how you do some of that coaching and that inner work that you talked about. And I know that you use a method called the 3S method that you work with your clients on. So can you kind of start from there and kind of walk us through this method that you use to help women after divorce?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've discovered this or developed it, kind of through my own trial and error. And it's called the 3S method. And that's the stars, self-love, and style. So when I work with someone, we always start with the stars, with astrology. I will read their birth chart, which has so much information. And it's really, I like to call it the GPS of your soul. So it's like the blueprint. So I look at that, I kind of analyze that. From there, I'll even use that to help me down the road with your style. There's just so much information and so much guidance that can be gleaned from doing that. So that's the first tool for like kind of self-awareness, kind of seeing where you've been, where you are now, and where you would like to go. So we start with that. And then the next S is self-love. And I call them the self-love sessions. So usually when you're starting over from a divorce or anything that you're starting over from, if you're getting a new job or any type of major life transition, when you're starting over, you could be lacking self-confidence or self-esteem. So these self-love sessions are there to help you visualize the life you want to create for yourself, and to help you start embodying that. So there's some work that we do, some inner work, there's journaling, there's affirmations, but it's all tailor-made to each client, what I, analyze in the chart, and then I build out the self-love sessions according to that. But there's always, you know, um, building up your self-confidence, visualizing the future so you can really start to embody that and start creating a life that you love. And the last part of that is the style part. So now that you've kind of reflected and you've become a little bit more aware of yourself, and then you've boosted your self-esteem and your confidence back up, now the exciting part is that you get to dress for this life that you're creating, for the woman that you're becoming. And I also, back to the stars, I look at your chart as well, and I come up with something that I call your signature star style. It's based on your chart, and it's really something that's authentic to each and every client.
So for clients that you're working with, and I was taking a lot of notes here as you were talking through this, do you find that their style completely changes after you kind of go through this process, this looking at their birth chart, going through the self-love coaching that you're doing with them, and then moving into the signature style? Are they making big changes, small changes, or what do you typically see there?
I Some are pretty drastic and some are a little, not as enormous, but it's a different thing. So if we were to start with, oh, I want some new clothes, a new style, I want to, whole makeover, and you buy a bunch of new clothes. And then, but you haven't done the work. So you still have the same level of self-confidence. You still have the same level of self-esteem. You're still feeling miserable and not content in your life. So basically, you've just bought a bunch of new clothes and you're still dressing the old you. So that's why I put the style at the end. Everyone, that's the exciting part. I want new clothes, I want to shop, but I do it at the end purposely so that you're working up to that. So that when now we figured out like who you really are. It's really a deep dive. After you go through the birth chart analysis, it's really, you uncover some things that you might not have known about yourself, or you might have known somewhere in the back of your mind, but you couldn't really put your finger on it, or you didn't have the words to explain. So now that you have that information, you can, for me, I think the information is power. So then you can kind of step more confidently into that role. You can kind of say, oh, this is where I'm going. This is the trajectory. This is where I want to be. The vision becomes clear. And then when you have clarity, you're much more confident, and you can get those new clothes and get that new outfit. You might want to cut your hair or dye it a different color. You can feel like this is you, like you're showing up in your authenticity, versus just getting a bunch of new clothes and you're not really ready to wear them. You're not really ready to embody that personality or become that person. So it's more like maybe wearing a costume or playing dress up. But if you do it at the end and you go through my process, you are ready, and you will feel that you need these new clothes and these new items because you're no longer that person that you were in the beginning. So yeah, the transformations, no matter how big or small, are there, you can see them. They're significant.
And I love how you start from the inside and then kind of work out, because I think that's so critically important. Now, for those of us, including myself, that aren't really familiar with astrology or the birth charts, can you tell us a little bit more about that and how that works? Because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I don't know very much about it.
It's really fascinating. It has been a passion of mine since I was a kid. I was always that kid that would remember your birthday, and I just was collecting all these data points, over all these years. And then maybe 4 years ago, I decided to really start to study and really get a better understanding of the birth chart. So your birth chart is like the original selfie. You need your birthday and the birth time, birthplace. And it's an exact, like a snapshot of the moment you were born. So where all the planets were in the sky at the exact moment that you were born. So it's like, it looks like a little pizza. It's a circle divided into 12 slices or triangles that are called houses. And so most people know their sun sign, like when they think of astrology. If you're an Aries or a Leo, you might know that. But then there's also your moon sign, which is something that people that are only very close to you, relatives, a partner, people that are in close proximity would know. This is how you feel nurtured, how you feel safe, and where you look, that's like your safe space. Then there's your rising sign, which is, for lack of a better word, like the mask that you wear. That's what the energy that you give off when you first meet people, when they first come in contact with you. It's more so that they're interacting with your rising sign. So those are the three main things in your birth chart. But then you have all the planets and their different placements. And everyone has all of the signs. So you might be Aries sun, but you have every zodiac sign represented in your chart, and it rules a different area of your life. So when you can look at the chart and you see if you have Venus in Sagittarius, or the different planets take on different energies depending on where they are. So, I mean, it's kind of, try not to get too technical, but once you look at that and you can analyze and see how the planets are interacting with each other, and those kind of create your habits and your traits, your behavior patterns, your Venus placement, I look at a lot because that Venus rules your beauty, your aesthetics, your style, the things that you value. So that tells me a lot when I'm needing to put a style together for you. When we're creating that, signature style for you, I'll definitely look a lot at your Venus placement, as well as your sun gives a great indication. So there's all these little things, all these little facets, and it's so individualized. Like no chart is the same. Even for twins, I've looked at identical twins birth charts, and they're different.
Oh, wow. I would not have ever guessed that in a million years.
Yes, I mean, they're not extremely different, but there are some differences because depending on when you were born. So if they're born even 5 minutes, 15 minutes, however many minutes apart, some of the quicker moving planets might have shifted. So they could have some slight variations in their charts. So yeah, it's literally a blueprint customized for you and only you.
So the next part of your process, you do the self-love sessions. And I would say, probably, I make an assumption here that people who are going through a big change, like a divorce in their life, there's a lot that they would like to work through there. So kind of walk us through all the things that you help them with.
Yeah. So like I said, based on the chart, then I can look and see, like, sometimes your self-esteem has been completely and totally, just brought to a low place. So then from there, I'll craft the sessions. There's a lot of, interactive work. It's not me, the client actually is participating in this. But we start to set the stage. I'll help them, for example, set up a morning routine, an evening routine to get some kind of stability, to normalize. I'll introduce them to meditation if they're not familiar with it, with affirmations, and just kind of building yourself up and realizing that, even if your marriage is over, that your life is not over, which is one of my big mantras, that this is just the beginning of something new. It's a new chapter. And, dealing with that and like starting to create the visual. I asked them like to imagine their perfect day, and they can go into the more detail you can go into, the more specific you can go to, you can really start to feel it and think it and process it. And there's about 3 of the self-love sessions that we do over the time. And there's work, there's journaling. I'll get you to, thinking about your next step and thinking about the possibilities. But once again, that's kind of a general overview, but it's really tailored to each person from what I can see from the chart. And then we, and obviously they'll input if there's something that they're wanting to work through, then we work that in too, but it's really tailored to the individual.
And then, once they've done all this internal work that you've been helping them with, the self-love sessions, then you move into kind of, determining their signature style, if you would.
Yeah.
So how do you go about helping them with that?
So this also, it's all very interactive. It's not that I'm just, like a dictator saying, okay, you need to wear this. So everyone, they have a style or they like a certain thing. So I'd start by asking, if they have any style icons who they like. And a lot of times, the majority of the times, some of the style icons they have share some similar astrological traits. Maybe they're the same sun sign, same moon sign. They have something. So something kind of unknowingly has been guiding them to like this style. They might not dress like it, but something has attracted them to this icon. So from there, once I get a visual of, this is something they like, and then we take into account their lifestyle. Do they work? Do they travel a lot? Do they have kids? Are they all these other factors? And then from your Venus placement, also from your Mars placements, or if you have a lot of water or fire in your chart. Then from there, I will suggest, always a suggestion, nothing is written in stone. And then from there, I make you a lookbook just to make sure that we're on the same page. Like, is this, where you want to go? Is this how you want to start showing up in the world? And if I'm doing my job well, then most of the times that's a yes. And then from there, I will put together another book that has links where you can shop directly. Everything that I send you, you can just click a button and, order it, and it will be delivered straight to you.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Just
so
do the lookbook, and if that looks good, just click there and buy it. That is much better than Stitch Fitch, I would say.
Oh yeah, no, so it's really personalized. We go through it. And also one thing I forgot that we do also in this part is called a self-love closet cleanse. And that's where you're going to go through and you're going to get rid of everything that doesn't make you feel like a rock star when you put it on, that doesn't make you feel good. Because it's nothing worse than opening up your closet and you hate everything that you see in there. And you're like, oh, I don't have anything to wear. Or, it doesn't inspire you to get dressed when you just open your closet and see a bunch of things that you don't like. Either they don't fit, or they have some type of a sentimental memory, or they've been in there for 20 years and you haven't worn them. So we go through and kind of filter through all of that. And we want to leave you, hopefully you won't empty your whole closet, but even if you are getting rid of a significant chunk, you just know that those are the things that you're going to wear, because most people only wear 20% of the clothes they have in their closet anyway. So we get rid of that self-love edit. And then you're doing that. I'm working on your looks, defining the style, getting the okay, and then sending you a beautiful booklet that you can just flip through, well, on the computer, on your phone, scroll through, maybe is a better word. You can scroll through and just, and you'll have these new wonderful looks delivered to you.
Love it. Love it. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today. Any last minute tips for the audience, or anything else you want to make sure that they take away?
Yes. Even if you are not ready to go through this a process like this, or just to remember that you're always making a statement when you show up, when you go out, how you're dressed, your personal style definitely matters. It speaks before you even get a chance to open your mouth. What you're wearing and how you're wearing it speaks volumes. So it's definitely a good idea to start dressing with intention, and just thinking about, one tip I give to my clients is, think when you get dressed in the morning is to think about how you want to feel. Like if you have, say you have a big presentation or you have a big meeting at work, you want to feel confident, you want to feel like you have authority. So that's going to be a different outfit than if you want to feel playful and sexy, for example. Those are two different feelings. So there should be two different outfits completely. So I like to ask my clients to think about how they want to feel. And then if they start to build a wardrobe off of that, so that way you're exuding confidence, when you need to.
Oh, that's some great tips. And I definitely want to do that closet cleanse that you mentioned. I know I need to, for sure. Nicole, can you let people know where they can find you? And I believe you have a free gift for them also.
Definitely. So I'll tell you about the free gift. It's called the Ultimate First Date Uniform Formula, but please do not let the name fool you. It is a process I've developed to help you. Say if you go through your closet, I walk you through step by step. It's a workbook that you can download, and will tell you how to pick out an outfit that you absolutely love. There are some tips and there's some tricks in there, some suggestions, and it just walks you through. You do a full body assessment. So I'm asking you to look in the mirror and say, these are my highlights in my body. These are the things that I want to accentuate. These are the things. And then you say, oh, maybe these parts I don't want to accentuate so much. That I give you a few tips and tricks of how to accentuate, how to camouflage. And then you put together what I like to call your rock star outfit. And the idea is that once you start dressing like that, once you get in the habit of making outfits, or when you're only having clothes in your closet that make you feel like a rock star, that make you feel, like $1,000,000, your confidence just soars through the roof. You know that what you put on looks good, it fits you, and it's saying what you wanted to say. It makes it so much easier to get ready in the morning. There's no stress. If you have an event, if you have a date, if you're going out for brunch with the girlfriends, you will know that you will look fabulous 100% of the time. So that is a free workbook that you can download and, get started in creating your rock star outfits.
And we will make sure that link, Nicole, is in the show notes, and I'll put the links for your website and your Instagram account in there also, so people can go there and learn a little bit more about you and how you help people. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today. I love the conversation that we had.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope it was helpful, and it was definitely my pleasure to be here to share this info with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free HobbyScool online learning summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to HobbyScool.com, and that's HobbyScool with school without an H in it. Talk soon.